for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Lots and lots to discuss on today's show. But before we get into that, please do me a small favour. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. Bottom right-hand corner. We are now on the road to 50,000 subscribers. So go and do that now if you haven't already. On the show this morning, we will, of course, be talking about Manchester United's 2-0 defeat to Wolverhampton Wanderers yesterday. We'll be talking and reacting to a story saying that apparently Ruben Amorim wants to sign Inter Milan's Federico Dimarco as the new left wing back. Also talking a bit about Matheus Cunha, who apparently is Manchester United's dream signing. And also just giving a bit of an overall outlook on where we are at the moment as a football club. But as always, let me know your thoughts on everything we discuss in today's show. And I've got a question for you. I like to start my shows off with questions. The question is this. Where do you think realistically Manchester United are going to finish in the Premier League this season? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Pause the video. Get your comments in now. Where will Manchester United finish this season? I'll go first. So currently we are sat 14th in the Premier League on 22 points. We've got a goal difference of -3. We've only won 6 games this season. That is crazy, isn't it? So we've only won a third of the games we've played. Oh, where will we finish? Where will we finish? I mean, top 4 is unrealistic, isn't it? We're 11 points off top 4 now, so we're not going to get top 4. I mean, I didn't think we were anyway, but I'm just giving you my, I'm thinking out loud. We're not going to get top 4, 100%. I mean, 5th place is, I know this probably sounds crazy based on where we are at the moment, but we're 5 points off. Oh no, we're more than 5. We're 7 points off 5th. We're not getting 5th either. I thought it was only 5 points. And we're 6 points off even 9th place in the table. I think a top half finish would probably be an achievement at this stage. 9th, maybe 10th. I mean, even then, we could easily not finish in that position. Let's have a look. So we've got 22 points. We've played 18 games. So if we were to continue with the form we're in now, at the end of the season, we would be on 46 points. That's mental, isn't it? What was it last season? Last season, we still got 60 points. So based on how we're playing at the moment, the current form, we would be on 46 points at the end of the season. Whereas last season, we finished on 60 points and were screaming for the manager to be sacked. The season before that, we got 75 points. Season before that, we got 58, which was, I think, our worst ever in Premier League history. And the season before that, we got 74. Season before that, we got 66. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely terrible. It's the worst run of form, I think, in probably Premier League history, isn't it? For Manchester United, obviously. When you think it can't get any more bad, it does. We've won 1 game in the last 5 in the Premier League. We've lost 4. But after sleeping on it last night, I think it's pretty simple for me. If Ruben Amorim is able to completely gut this team and start again, I think he has a chance of being successful. If he doesn't, I don't see it working, to be honest. And there's no excuses now. The January transfer window opens in 3 days, right? They need to be getting rid of these players. They need to be looking through this squad and making arrangements. People like Casemiro, people like Antony, people like Rashford. If Garnacho's not going to get picked anymore, sell him. We have to be ruthless now. And I know those aren't some of the, there's people like Maguire, there's people like Malacia, there's people like Luke Shaw, there's people like Christian Eriksen, there's people like Mason Mount. There's the amount of players, Victor Lindelof, the amount of players who should be leaving is absolutely astronomical. If you go from start to finish, Bayinda, you may as well sell him, he doesn't play. Lindelof, sell. Maguire, sell. Malacia, sell. Dalot, sell. Luke Shaw, sell. Mason Mount, sell. Bruno, sell. Eriksen, sell. Casemiro, sell. Go through to the strikers. Rashford, sell. Antony, sell. Garnacho, probably sell. I mean, yeah, that's 13 players that I've just read out off the top of my head that should be moving on. Obviously, you're not going to sell 13 players in one window. That's completely unrealistic. But, if they were able to sell Rashford, sell Garnacho, sell Casemiro, maybe they get something for Lindelof, they get something for Eriksen, that would be a start. And that would then at least allow him to bring in some specialist players for his formation. Because the fact of the matter is, right, at the moment, we're playing a formation that most of these players have never played before. We're playing a formation where most of these players are playing out of position. You've got Dalot playing at left wing back, who's a right back. You've got Mazraoui playing at right wing back, who is a right back. You've got people like Ahmad playing as a central attacking midfielder, which he has done a couple of times, but it's not his. Do you know what I mean? Like, at the moment, we don't have specialist players to suit this formation, so no wonder it's not working. Erik ten Hag tried to do the same thing in his first season. Do you remember? In his first season, he tried to play the Ajax style of way for the first 2 games, passing out from the back. We lost to Brighton at home in our first ever game under Erik ten Hag. Then we went away to Brentford and lost 4-0. And then after that, he said, you know what? I can't play this type of football with these players. I'm going to change my style, change my setup. He started parking the bus, hitting on the counter-attack with Rashford, and we got second that season. That was his first season. Do you remember? We got third, didn't we? Not second. But that season where we got third, we lost the first 2 games. At home to Brighton and away to Brentford. And that was simply because Erik ten Hag was trying to play a style of football that these players can't play. And as soon as he reverted to what they know, which is park the bus and hit on the counter-attack, we climbed the table. We went on a winning run, didn't we? And we finished third. And we won the League Cup and got to... Did we get to an FA Cup final as well? No. Yeah, I think we did. Anyway, we did well. Yes, the football wasn't that good, but I'd rather win than yeah. Because, I mean, at the moment, we're not playing nice football anyway. It's not like we're playing beautiful football and narrowly losing. Like, the football's not very good, let's be clear, is it? I would rather play not very good football, park the bus and win. I get in the long run, though, in the long run, the vision is that eventually you'll have players to play in all of the correct specialist positions, and then you will be able to play nice football. I get it, and you have to persist. But at Manchester United, how long does a manager get? Now, I'm not by any means screaming for Ruben Amorim to get sacked. I didn't even want Erik ten Hag to get sacked, so I'm not going to ever shout for Ruben Amorim to be sacked. But at the moment, we're 14 points. We're 14th in the Premier League. We're only about 5 points off the relegation zone, and our next 3 Premier League games are against Newcastle, Liverpool, and then Southampton, which maybe will win. But the next 2 games, at least, Newcastle, I would say, with 99% will lose. Liverpool, 99% will lose. So, if results go against us, and we would say lose the next 2 games, we could literally be like in 16th, 17th place after 20 games, which is mental to think, isn't it? Absolutely mental. But yeah, how's everyone feeling at the moment? How's the mood? I guess everyone's probably feeling pretty miserable. Yeah, it's not good. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. Johnny says a wing-back is not a specialist position. Dalot, Mazraoui, Shaw have always attacked a lot. It definitely is a specialist position, my friend. It definitely is. And Dalot's awful at attacking. Mazraoui's not great at attacking. And Luke Shaw's injured all the time, so I don't really understand what your point is there, but okay. What else have we got? Ellen says, I'm afraid we will get news that Amorim has been sacked any minute now. Surely not. I would be absolutely stunned if Ineos decided to sack Ruben Amorim. They spent £30 million sacking Erik ten Hag and bringing in Ruben Amorim. If they were now to decide after, 8 games that he's not the right man for the job, I mean, how stupid does that make them look? I think they're going to have to stick with him. And I think that the only way it's going to work is if they back him and they allow him to clear out the squad. Because if they don't do that, it's not going to work. It's clear to see. At the moment, right, I've said this many, many times before, and people always used to riddle me when I said this under Erik ten Hag. The only way to, say, finish top 4 and achieve success with this set of players is by parking the bus and counter-attacking, because this set of players can actually do that quite well. They're not bad at that. If you put loads of men behind the ball, you park the bus against teams like Wolves and you hit them on the break. We would, with Rashford and Garnacho and all this pace on the pitch, we would be in a much better position in the table if we did that. But obviously the point is, right, you do that, and then the same Man United fans are like, oh, I don't like this. We're Man United. We should be playing better football than this. So they complain, right? Then you get someone like Ruben Amorim come in, who's clearly a very innovative coach. He's trying to play this attacking, exciting football, but it doesn't work. So it's like, where's the middle ground? And the big question is, how long will Ineos give him? Will they give him enough time to be able to see if this can actually work? That's the biggest question and the biggest stumbling block. Because I'm telling you now for free, if after the Nottingham Forest loss, Ruben Amorim said, I don't have the players to play this back five at the moment. I'm going to go to a 4-3-3. I'm going to be a bit more defensive. Rashford's going to come back and I'm going to hit on the counter. I'm telling you, we'd be in a much better position than we are now. We would. It's a fact. But because we're trying to play lots of players in positions they don't know, and we don't really have much of an attacking threat either at the moment. Højlund doesn't really offer much, let's be honest. Ahmad, I think, has massive potential and I think has been decent in some games, but he's our only attacking outlet at the moment, Ahmad, realistically. Bruno doesn't offer much. Rasmus doesn't offer much. And if Ahmad's not on form, which he wasn't yesterday, then we have effectively no chance of scoring a goal. You know, we don't score from corners. We don't score from free kicks. We don't do counter-attacks anymore because the formation's changed. So we have to actually create something, and we don't do that. So, yeah, at the moment, there's literally no hope of scoring, and we just concede terrible goals like we did yesterday. That corner should not be happening in professional football. You know, we conceded exactly the same corner a week ago against against Tottenham. And even the Wolverhampton Wanderers manager came out after the game and said, we were targeting them from corners because we know that they're weak and they're not very good at it, you know? So teams know now that Manchester United, if you get a corner, you've pretty much got a high chance of scoring a goal, you know? Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. Somebody says that Rashford isn't the solution. I'm not saying Rashford is the solution. I'm just saying that if Man United park the bus and hit on the counter-attack, they'd have more points than they have now. It's pretty simple. And Rashford has pace. So, yeah. What else have we got in the chat? Somebody says we should just park the bus until we can get the right players who suit the system. The thing is, right, I do respect Ruben Amorim that he's like, I'm not going to do that. I have my ways, I'm going to stick to them. But if he continues losing it, that may cost his job, you know? And I'm not being dramatic here. As I said, we could literally be like 16th, 17th in a couple of games. We're going to lose to Newcastle and we're going to lose to Liverpool. That's a fact, realistically, isn't it? We're playing away at Anfield. They're top of the table. They're absolutely smashing it. And we're playing against Newcastle who've just won like 4-0, 3-0. Like, they're absolutely on fire. I'm not expecting us to win either of those games, right? And then if you look at the teams below us in the table, Everton are only 5 points below, but they've got a game in hand. So if they win their game in hand, they'll only be 2 points behind. Crystal Palace are only like 4 points behind. Wolves are now kind of on form. Like, we genuinely could be 17th, 18th in the next couple of weeks because we are going to lose our next two Premier League games. It gets a little bit easier after that, somewhat, in the Premier League. But still, let's have a look. So our next Premier League games are obviously Newcastle and Liverpool. And then you've got Southampton and Brighton at home, which are like, you have to win those two games. Brighton are a good side. Southampton, obviously, you expect to win. But, like, we have to win those games. Absolutely have to. Because, yeah, I mean, after that, then you've got Tottenham away, Everton away, Arsenal, Leicester away, Nottingham Forest away, Man City, Newcastle. So there's a pretty difficult run of games coming up now. We kind of had the fixture list here where I expected, you know, we had Ipswich, Everton, Forest, Bournemouth and Wolves. Those were kind of the first 5 or 6 fixtures in the Premier League for Ruben Amorim. And we lost against Bournemouth, we lost against Wolves, we lost against Nottingham Forest, and we beat Everton, and we drew with Ipswich. So out of those 5 games where you'd expect to win, all of them, really, if you're going to get top 4 or anything, we won 1 and drew 1 and lost 3, you know? Obviously, losing to Arsenal, that's, you know, that happens. Beating Man City, obviously, that was brilliant. But, I mean, if you look at the form before that, right, before Erik ten Hag was sacked, he drew with Chelsea, which is... Sorry, that was rude, wasn't it? He lost to West Ham. He beat Brentford, drew with Aston Villa. Yeah, I mean, the form wasn't great under Erik ten Hag either. It's just been an awful season, hasn't it? When you think it can't get any worse, it does get worse. It's frustrating. But let's see what else we got in the chat today. Somebody says that Rashford has lost a lot of pace. Yeah, I did notice that a couple of times, to be fair, that it does look like Rashford isn't as fast as he used to be. Right, let's talk a little bit about Federico Dimarco, though. Talk about some signings. Hopefully that can spin a bit of a positive on the mood at the moment. But This is coming out from multiple different people this morning that apparently Dimarco is Amorim's first choice for the left wing-back position, and he is putting pressure on Man United to sign him in January. I was thinking this morning, right, when, the transfer window's about to open. And I thought to myself, Man United are in an absolutely vicious cycle even. Because why would anybody want to join Manchester United now? Think about it. It's a question. We're 14th in the table. We've lost 4 out of the last 5 games in the Premier League. We're not in the Champions League. We're not going to be in the Champions League next season. Why would anybody want to join us? I mean, the answer's pretty obvious. Money. They would want to join us because they want, to get a big payday. And isn't that exactly what we're trying to get rid of now at Manchester United? We've got all of these average players who are paid way too much money. Or we've got players who are good, who are paid loads of money and just don't care anymore. So, I mean, Federico Dimarco, amazing. Yes, he's a brilliant left wing back. But why would you want to leave Inter Milan, who are currently, fighting to win the Serie A? Why would he want to do that? He's already on about £130,000 a week. It's obvious why he would want to join. Very, very obvious. He'd want to join because he wants money. Man United would probably pay him double that. And I don't know if that's the solution. I mean, is that the solution? To bring in effectively mercenaries who are literally just coming for the money. You think Casemiro, you think people like Di Maria, you think, all of these players that over the years we've signed where the only reason they're coming is for money. And isn't that what we're trying to get rid of at the moment? We're all sat here complaining, saying, oh, Casemiro's on 350k a week. It's a disgrace. Get rid of him. But yet we're willing to pay someone like Federico Dimarco probably 250k a week to come and play for Man United. To leave Inter Milan, who are in the title race in Italy, to come and play for a team who are in a relegation battle. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I mean, if you look at it like from a level-headed perspective, I mean, you probably should just be giving youth players a chance. People like Harry Amas, people like Toby Collier. I mean, what do we have to lose? This current set of first-team players are clearly not the future, are they? We can all agree on that. There's a couple in the team that might, be successes at Manchester United. I'm thinking Manuel Ugarte, Lenny Yoro, Ahmad. But other than that, I would say that every single one of the rest of them probably should be moved on, realistically, and we need to completely start a clean slate, like Chelsea did, where they brought in like 50 players in 3 windows, like Arsenal did when Arteta came in. He got rid of all of the Lacazettes, the Aubameyangs, etc. He completely cleaned out the shop and brought through a whole new set of players. So at this point, I would be more than happy if we just start playing youth players, because we haven't really got anything to lose, have we? I don't think it could be any worse than it is now. So yeah, I don't know. Obviously, this Newcastle game on Monday scares me a lot, to be honest. 8 o'clock kickoff at Old Trafford. Newcastle absolutely in form. Yeah, I don't know. But let me know what you guys think. Like, would you just go down the youth player route? What would you do? Somebody says that Dimarco is actually good, unlike some of the frauds in this club. The thing is, though, right? Most of the players we signed, when we signed them, were good. Most of them. I mean, Anthony was good when we signed him, and he's a bit awful now. You look at some of the other players that we've bought, and they've come in and we've given them massive amounts of money, and then they've just disappeared. So I don't think it's ever really been that we've signed a rubbish player for loads of money. We've signed players that everyone in this fan base thought were good. Really, we did, didn't we? I think Mason Mount was questionable. I'd agree with that. People like Malacia were backups, but when we signed Casemiro, I think most people were pretty excited about that, right? And then next thing you know, we realised that he's not getting the money he wants at Real Madrid, and Casemiro's only joining because we were stupid enough to give him 350k a week, and we don't improve players. We don't improve players. That's a fact. It doesn't happen at Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes was maybe the one exception, but Bruno Fernandes has just fallen off a cliff massively, hasn't he, form-wise? So, yeah. But let's move on from that. Let's talk a little bit about Mateus Cunha. There's a couple of clips going around on social media of Ruben Amorim and Cunha having a good chat after the game yesterday. I like Cunha. I think he was one of the best players on the pitch yesterday. He excites me. He gets me off my seat. Would he be a good signing for Manchester United? Of course he would. He's got 10 goals and 4 assists in only 18 games this season. He'd be an absolutely quality signing. But the problem is he's going to cost an absolutely ridiculous amount of money. Wages wouldn't be a problem. He's only on 60,000 a week. Let that sink in for a minute, right? Mateus Cunha earns 60,000 a week at Wolves. We pay Bruno Fernandes, who plays in the same position, over 300 grand a week. We pay Casemiro, who sits on the bench, 350 grand a week. We pay Rashford, who's not even being picked at the moment because of some mental reason. We pay him over 300k a week as well. And you've got someone like Mateus Cunha, who's absolutely on fire at the moment, and he's earning 60k a week. You know, and you can see these players at the moment, like Mateus Cunha, are effectively auditioning, aren't they? Playing for a club like Wolves. No disrespect to Wolves, they beat us yesterday. But they're effectively auditioning to get another big move, aren't they? Where they'll get a big payday. But I think the likelihood of Man United signing him is relatively slim. I think he'd be a great signing, but the amount of money it would take would be astronomical. Wolves paid 50 million euros for Mateus Cunha only last July. So about 15, 16 months ago, they paid that amount for him. So yeah, it just doesn't seem very realistic. They're going to want to make a profit on it, aren't they? So yeah, that's my take on that. What else we got here? Let's have a look. Ellen says, why do they give Bruno a new 4-year contract? He is 30 years of age. Don't they look to the future at all? It didn't really make much sense to me either. At the time, I said that I can understand. I said that Bruno deserves a new contract based on him being the best player, right? But at the same time, he already had 2 years left of his deal. He was already earning 250k a week. They didn't need to give him a new deal. It didn't really make much sense, unless, of course, they want to try and sell him. Then I would understand. If in the summer we sell him for 80 million, then fair play to them, because obviously giving him that new contract will have increased his value. You know, if he's only got 6 months left on his deal, then his fee is going to be way less than if he has 4 years. But yeah, I don't think any of these players are safe at the moment, to be honest. And you know, if Ineos are as skint as they say they are, and they have as little money as they're making out, then yeah, they're going to have to make some big decisions. But I'm going to leave the video here. I don't. It's not a particularly positive moment at the moment, is it? But I'll be back tomorrow morning. If anything breaks, I will of course go live. Make sure to leave a comment in the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, drop a like, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye for now.